I stay fresh, doing it with less. You wanna hit the road, baby girl, be my guest. My road is in the sky, high above the stress. You can come along if you leave behind your mess. And we can dance in the moon on the Champs-Elysees. Dip and sway when there's nothing to say. I don't have it now, but I will real soon. I'll send a postcard from the moon. Look out. I stay fresh.
I guess I was 12 years old when I started to cut my own hair. My mother didn't have the money to send me to the barber shop, and she was terrible at cutting my hair. So I got some money cutting grass or something, and I went ahead and got a pair of cheap clippers from like Walgreens or something, or Eckerd at the time. And yeah, went from there. When I got my hair cut at the barber shop, I kind of watched what they did. I guess it's something that I always paid attention to, like my clothes or anything else. It's just like kind of a fashion statement, I guess. I just like to look good. I guess what I am, I'm considered a waver. And as a waver, we have to brush our hair a certain amount, and you know, we invest in brushes, things like that. So I guess for that, I have to do a lot of brushing. I have to make sure that I sleep with a do-rag on. I walk around with a do-rag on sometimes. So it's those kinds of things, just washing my hair. I can't wash my hair as frequently as I used to. I probably do about twice a week now. One's a co-wash and one's a regular shampoo wash. So yeah, it's a lot of maintenance. And you know, my girlfriends, they always kind of got girlfriends plural.
All of them.
Well, my girlfriend, they always like, you know, saying little poking jabs at me about me taking so much care of my hair, but you know, it's just something that I'm used to. I think the assumption is that women spend that much time in the restroom, in the bathroom, doing their hair, not men. And you know, I can be sitting down somewhere and I'm just brushing. So yeah. Even when I'm on the phone, like, they can hear the brush. Like, they hear the brush. Are you brushing your hair? Yeah, I'm brushing my hair. Waving is a science. I think there are certain people they come up with their own methods to brushing their hair, or how to what kind of do-rags, the triple compression, which is where they have a do-rag and then they have a wave cap on top of that and then another wave cap on that to compress the hair and kind of make sure that it lays down. You know, people use pomades, or what else do we use? Like, I use Shea Moisture's curl enhancing smoothing on my hair, As I Am products. So there's a lot of products involved, a lot of different brushes. You got the hard brush, you got the medium brush, you got the soft brush. So there's just all kinds of things that go into trying to keep your waves. And then people have different patterns. They have the 360 pattern, which is like basically waves that come straight this way, and then straight in the back. And then you have 540s and 720s, which is when you have the spiral like I have, and it goes to the slant and everything like that. So there's a lot of different ways to brush your hair, and it depends on how your hair grows, where your crown is, which is that spot where the hair spins. All that stuff. So it's science. It's a little bit of science involved. I probably own 24 brushes, maybe. A lot of that is because I wanted to look at and measure the diameter of those brushes' bristles. I have 3 favorite brushes that I use, and those are pretty much my go-to brushes, with a 4th that I use just for my crown area, because you try to close the crown, you don't want that big hole there. You try to close it. So when I started, you know, the 80s, you had new additions, Michael Bivins, and they had waves in their hair. You would see other guys from Jamel Shabazz's photos, and you know, that kind of thing, the hip hop, they had waves in their head. So I think back then, it wasn't like it is today, where you have YouTubers who are talking about it and they're coming up with these different methods. Back then, it was just like you had a brush and you had some Dax Murrays, or you had some Sporting Waves. I don't even think they had Sporting Waves back then. It was just like Dax and Murrays. And then you just put that in your hair, brush, lay it down, and that would be it. I don't think there's any scientific data. I don't think there's anybody who's ever studied how waves are created. I mean, I have my ideas about it. You know, we have curly hair, it's like a slinky spring. When you pull that spring, it's going to elongate the hair, and then you just kind of lay it flat, and it creates that pattern. To be able to do that takes, you know, a lot of brushing to stretch out those coils, and then laying it down with the do-rag. Anything other than that, I think sometimes is a little much. I have a brush that I created, or I'm still working on. I've had several samples done, and hopefully I'll have something available soon. Those brushes were basically based on the hair brushes that I use, the ones that I like the most, and trying to get those similar bristles. I tend to like a harder brush. Some people like to use mediums or even a soft brush, but I think a harder brush works for my hair, certainly works for my son's hair, who has a different texture hair than I have. So I think depending on a person's hair texture, they can use different products, and it'll be more effective for them depending on their texture. My brush is similar to the Crown Quality Products brush. It's a curved brush, like Crown brush or CQP. However, I'm paying a lot of attention to the bristles. The bristles are the main thing that I like, and I look at the brushes that people like the most, and I want to look at those. So I've added some science to it, and I've used a caliper, which basically measures the diameter of the bristles in the brush to see which brushes that people prefer, and I measure the diameter of those bristles, and I've gone and tried to make sure that my brushes have bristles that mirror the top brushes. So hopefully it's a brush that people will, you know, love for that reason. My advice to wavers would be to check out some of the YouTube videos, look at what other wavers are doing. There's also wave communities online, but basically you just need a brush. You need to start brushing, and you need to put a do-rag on. My name is Chi Brown, and I'm a professional photographer, videographer, and waver.